Hello and welcome back to this edition of Daily Actives brought to you by Bootleg Macro. I'm Dustin. We're looking at Tilray once again, and I love what I see. We're going to start with the price here. You can see over the past 3 days, the very end of August and this first 2 days of September, we've seen red lettering with white background, which you don't know what that means, but it means that this is 3 standard deviations above its 23-day average. The price is now officially above its 5-day moving average as well as above its 23-day moving average, which it doesn't seem like that would be a big deal, but it definitely wasn't above it for a while here. And what I really like to see is that we've seen over 50 million shares traded the past 4 days in a row. We saw 89 million shares traded on August 31st alone. What's fascinating to me is that essentially this is not coming out of nowhere, but you're seeing this happen while you're getting volatility falling. Volatility has been falling for quite a while, and as price is breaking out, that actually is a very good indication to me. I think when volatility is falling and price is doing something, that's generally the real trend. And what I love is that we've had a price to rise since the 24th of August. Nothing has really changed there. We're positive on the 1 day, 5 day, 15 day, 1 month, 3 month, and 6 month chart. We actually flipped positive on the 6 months for the first time in at least as far back as this data goes. Now we look at the overall Tilray signals. We do have a go long in the short term, intermediate term, and longer term. Obviously, we saw these go shorts. So we'll want to be very conscious of the go short signals that we see here. But right now, we've got a bullish in the short term, intermediate term, and longer term, all the way across the board in Tilray. Things are looking up. We're looking at the rolling sentiment. We're seeing rising bulls. We're seeing things are really starting to look great for Tilray. Let's look at the trading signals. Now, it's been a choppy mix. I'll give you that. But you did get a buy signal as of the first, which is fantastic at 309. You got a big bull. You've got a small bull. Again, we're getting some chop, but you're going to have 5 of the bull key 3 as of tomorrow. The bear key 3 are going down. You only have 1 of them tomorrow. So you really don't really care about what's going on here. Now, I do want to look at the correlation of the VIX, and the reason why is because I want to see how this is looking. And the easiest way for me to actually look at this is going to be the graph. So this is the Tilray correlation to the VIX chart right here. You can see that the correlation is actually falling, which is fantastic. The reason why it's fantastic is because the VIX is falling. Now, if you expect that this is going to continue, you'll expect that the VIX is going to fall and Tilray is going to rise. That chart, while it looks hideous and it kind of is a sideways motion, if we look at the longer term, this is a very constructive setup when you think that this thing has been all the way up to $60 at one point. And now we are around $3. Now, if we look at the overall daily sentiment, the one thing that's fascinating is that it does look like it's just recently rolled over. It looks like it hit some highs here in August and starting to roll over a little bit. We can come back down to 50%, but it doesn't look like we're going to see a humongous change in the way that the movement is going. I mean, even if I look at the weekly here, you're seeing all the way through on the weekly here, on the weekly sentiment, you're seeing that we're at 60%. It's phenomenal. Now, if we look at the daily volume, what I can see already is that we're getting massive volume days as we're seeing that price breakout. It's even showing up on the weekly chart. You can see this weekly 15-week moving average is starting to rise as we're getting multiple weeks in a row now since the end of July, where we're getting massive volume that's coming into Tilray. I don't know if this is good. I don't know if it's bad. All I know is that the volume is here, the demand is here, and it looks like the price is starting to rise. We look at the volatility. We can see that we've got the backside of the volatility, just like I was mentioning. It is falling. The correlation is also negative. Now, one of the best parts that I'd love to see is when you have volatility, which is falling, because I believe that that's when trend exposes itself, and then you get the correlation, which goes negative. What that generally does is that gives you a nice kind of upwards to sideways action in the stock, because 2 negatives generally make a little positive there. Now, when we look at the trade range, one of the things that's really fascinating is the amount of volatility that we're seeing, because the volatility is breaking out. It's making the range kind of get really thick like this. But when the volatility falls, it gets really, really thin, and then it just starts to continue to expand. Now, it's one of those most interesting things that you can think about, because this very easily could break up above the highest price, which is $3.35 back in February, or $3.29. Looks like $3.30 is like real resistance. We're angled up. We're marching towards it. I mean, the top of the range was back at 333 back in the middle of August. That was above the top or the highest range. Now, that wasn't the highest price that we've seen at the top of the range going all the way back. You can see back in January and February, we had a much higher price. But I like that the angle of the range is going up. I like that the bottom is not going down. It's going to start probably turning up as well. And I love that I see the daily sentiment is kind of just rolling. It's rolling over, but the weekly is so supportive of a higher move. It's actually quite remarkable to see, because you wouldn't expect this in a stock like this. That's a penny stock, but you're really seeing long-term demand going back into this market. But tell me what you think in the comments below. Are you long? Are you short? Do you like it? Do you love it? Is this even a good review? And before you go, subscribe to the New High newsletter. We send you 25 stocks to your inbox every single Sunday. Stocks between $5 and $20. Stocks breaking out to 1-year highs, all-time highs. It's a great list to review on Sunday to get yourself ready for the trading week. I'll talk to you soon.